Hello everybody, I am Red King from Send More Robots, and welcome back to Space Engineers. So, today is Thursday again, so that means another lovely update has been released. And with this update, they have released they've released only a couple new features and some more stipulations for people who want to enter their ships and stations into exploration mode. But first, let's get into the new couple of features they have before we get into what they're looking for. So first off, they have a new feature. If you do Control H, it brings up a net graph, which is basically, it works for dedicated and non-dedicated servers, primarily if you're online with other people. So as you can see, the graph is at 0, and that's because I'm the host, but let's say if you're in someone else's game, it gives you a idea of who's using a lot of power, where is it coming from, what's happening. And, it's if, let's say there's a minefield out there and someone detonates it and suddenly your frame rate drops completely, you can see that the graph will, fly all over the place and you'll be able to understand what happened. It's pretty straightforward. It's a cool way to determine if your connection is reliable or not, but nothing too fancy there. The other thing they have set up is, I bloody well don't remember, because it's primarily, this update was primarily about the ideas they had for everything. So, let's just get into that madness. So we'll get rid of this, and we will talk about what their new rules and regulations are. So their first, they're not really rules and regulations, but what they're looking for. So first off, they're looking for, plausibility in what, the ship's believability compared to the area it's in. So it mainly comes down to the size of the ships and what they look like together. So the nice thing is fortunately my station and this ship look pretty dang similar. So they look like they belong together. So they're trying to get that that idea of sectors being habitable, being organized, having people fill in the spaces and everything like that, it's actually lived in, rather than just being a random scatter of ships. And it's more likely to get your stuff included, so it's better to do bundles of ships and stations together to make it more realistic and immersive when it comes to the whole idea. So you want everything to kind of flow together and look like it belongs together, which is not always easy, but very possible. So this is, it's as long as you're building stuff consistently, you're gonna be all fine. You're gonna be okay. The next thing they have set up is a limitations on how many units it is to build a thing. So they go off of a unit called triangles in this game. And for this one, they have very specific setups for small ships, large ships, and stations. So for the small ship, their limit is 80,000 triangles. This is 39,000 triangles. So that means this is well within the stipulation that is required in order to access it in the game and allow it to be played in. So I'm pretty happy with that, because then it's something I can enter in, and this will be perfectly fine. Nothing will go wrong, everyone can use it, it'll show up and be doing its job. Everything's good and good. Now, stations, because they are massive, massive things, are going to have the highest triangle count. And if we go into the info and we look at the triangles on this one, it's 135,000. The limit for station triangles is 500,000. So this is well within the limits. This is perfectly fine. It's on the lower end too, so which makes it even more usable and feasible to carry around and use in survival mode during an exploration, which is pretty exciting, because that means I have two things to enter, not including the roughneck, who I still have to alter and kind of make fit into this whole category. But let's get into what they're looking for large ships. So I don't have a large ship nearby, at least one that's gonna print up, but I'll show you what is going on with that one. But in large ships, they're looking for 350,000 triangles. So it's the nice middle point between the small and the station, and that's quite a lot of triangles. There's a lot of large ships out there that surpass that, though. It's kind of ridiculous. The next thing they're looking for is objects that are survival ready. So this ship right here, it's all connected. All the piping and everything like that is connected, so that when those drills go off, it takes it and dumps it in here, gives it off, and now you have all the ore you've collected inside. They want everything to be survival ready. So the station needs to be survival ready, ships need to be survival ready, the pipes need to be connected and everything. Another thing they want is they want materials inside of here. So, you know, I have generators that power all this stuff. You can hear this going off. You see that generator. They want it to have power. They want it to be able, they want you to have uranium in it. They want your guns to have ammunition in it. And that'll keep it, you know, it doesn't have to be like an excessive amount to where a point there's so much in there that a player could literally just live here and everything would be good. But they want enough that a player could come through, scavenge, and leave if they so wanted. After that, they're looking for a reasonable production amount. Like, you can't have... It would be kind of ridiculous to have, like, 10 refineries in a station, unless that station is, like, housing, like, you know, 6,000 people, and they all need materials regularly. Like, that would make sense. But since this is usually stations for, you know, like, 3 to 4 people at the most, especially with the size of the servers, they don't want an excessive amount of assemblers and refineries on these areas, which makes it easier for us because then we only have to pipe in, you know, a couple here and there to make it all feasible. And I'll actually show you what my pipe work looks like. Oh, God. So over here is all of the piping I have for this station. So it's all pretty much within reason. It's exactly what they're looking for. It's, you know, it's piped up correctly. This small reactor is piped up to everything else. I can still access the small reactor. This is all fixed up with conveyors. There's a refinery. It's just, it has to be done correctly. And, yeah. The last thing that they're looking for, there's a couple other things that they're looking at, and that's, one, they want to make sure people do not use rotors or pistons. And primarily that comes from the fact that they do not want... They don't know what they're going to do with it. It may change, it may not. But if it does change, then every ship that has a rotor or a piston on it is broken. And that's a lot of ships to fix. Because, I mean, there's 50,000 creations on Steam Workshop alone, and God knows how many of those are ships. And, I mean, I used to have a, you know, a rotating hangar bay in here, and as you can see, it's gone now. There's just a gap there. And, you know, I had to get rid of it so that this thing was more compatible with survival. And, you know, later on I can add it back in, or when it's roaming around, people can put it in, but that's how it is. And the final thing they want everyone to know is no mods are allowed at all. And that is because they are not a file that is programmed into the game. When it comes to mods, everyone has their own mods and everything like that. I mean, just with my Ravager here, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna post this into the world, and as you can see, it's gonna pop up a warning. Oh, here we go. There we go. So there it is. Let's put it in, and now it's gonna tell me no parts are available, and it's gonna look pretty tore up because there's gonna be a lot of stuff missing. You can see something's already broken there. A lot of thrusters are missing, and it makes it janky because everything is gone. All the stuff that made it usable is no longer inside. I mean, half the chairs in here were mod chairs, and now there's none. There's nothing in here that controls a ship besides that seat. So it's just, you cannot include mods. Cannot do that. I mean, the Ravager here, I would have to change. I will have to fix. I mean, there's only 2 engines on at the end of this, so it's just a matter of making sure that we follow these stipulations, so then we can actually put in all of this good stuff and actually have fun with this and do all sorts of, you know, fun exploration together with things that are doable. You know what? And since we're here, we're going to take a look at the Ravager. We're going to see how many triangles this bad boy is. So yeah, with all the parts missing and everything like that, let's see if I can hit it. This is 300,000 triangles. This is just shy of the limit. This is literally just hanging out, and it's almost there. I am literally almost at the point where I cannot use this ship because of how big it is. And this is a very simple ship. I mean, it's just long. So large ships have to be redesigned very carefully. But, I mean, that's the biggest thing that we have for the update today. They've also included a new thing, a new setup. We're going to go ahead, and I'm not going to save this because that ship is there. But if you go into your edit settings, or if you're making a new world or anything like that, you can go down here where it says destructible blocks. And if you were to click this button, it makes the blocks destructible. So it adds deformation back into the game. It makes things break up. So if people are playing like Rocket Tag and you don't want them to destroy like the base or anything like that, you would click this off. No more destructible blocks. Click it on, everything gets destroyed. It's all good. But that is the biggest things we have going on for this week's update. Thank you all for joining me on this one. I have tried to add in stuff to actually submit to them, but it's not working right now. Hopefully when that comes up, I'll do another video so that everyone can see how to do it really easily. But thank you all for watching this episode of Space Engineers. I am Red King from Send More Robots. Always remember who you are and what you are. Don't go causing any trouble out in that crazy, crazy world. And always remember, those loot crate boxes are pretty sweet. I've gotten a few good things like a glow-in-the-dark Groot and a pen that's like a chainsaw. It was pretty awesome. So take a look into it. Check it out. Alright. Bye, guys. Dang it.